The afternoon sun hung high and unforgiving, bleaching the narrow street until every crack in the pavement seemed exposed, when a single desperate cry cut through the ordinary noise of the day and shattered the calm. A young woman lay twisted near the curb, her breath shallow, her legs useless beneath her, her eyes wide with fear as three shadows closed around her and then fled. The words she had forced out moments earlier still seemed to vibrate in the air, heavy with pain and terror, and anyone who heard them would have known that something irreversible had just happened. In that instant, the world split between those who would turn away and the one man who did not. If you believe that kindness still exists, that second chances matter, and that one person can change the ending of another's darkest moment, please like this video, share it, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel Only Kindness. Your support helps stories like this reach hearts that need them. Her name was Maribel Cruz, a 22-year-old woman whose life had already been shaped by hardship long before that afternoon. She had grown up in a small rented apartment above a repair shop, raised by a mother who worked double shifts and a father who left before she could form memories. A childhood illness had weakened her legs permanently, leaving her able to walk short distances with effort but often relying on a brace and sheer willpower to move forward. Maribel never complained about it. She learned early that the world did not slow down for those who struggled, so she moved at its pace, even when it hurt. That day, she had been returning from a community center where she volunteered, the sun warm on her face, a paper bag of donated clothes pressed against her chest like a fragile shield. The street she chose was usually safe during the day, busy enough to feel protected, but fate has a way of testing people when they least expect it. A construction detour had emptied the block, leaving only distant traffic noise and the echo of her own steps. The three men appeared suddenly, their presence aggressive without a word spoken, their laughter sharp and careless. Fear flooded Maribel's body before she could react. She tried to move faster, but panic and weakness betrayed her. When she fell, the pain shot through her legs like fire, stealing her breath and leaving her helpless against the concrete. The men did not stay long. Cruelty rarely needs time. They left her there, humiliated, injured, and terrified, as if her suffering were nothing more than an inconvenience to their day. Maribel lay there afterward, the sky impossibly blue above her, wondering how such a bright day could hold so much darkness. Her legs refused to respond, her brace twisted uselessly at her side. People passed at a distance, some slowing, others pretending not to see. Shame burned hotter than the pain. She felt small, invisible, as though the world had quietly agreed to abandon her. Her thoughts drifted to her mother, to the promises she had made to stay strong, and she wondered if this was the moment when strength finally ran out. What Maribel did not know was that just a few yards away, a large motorcycle rolled to a stop, its engine rumbling like a warning to the universe. The man who swung his leg over it was named Rafe Calder, a member of the Hells Angels whose appearance alone caused people to cross streets or lower their eyes. At 43, Rafe carried the weight of a hard life on his broad shoulders. His arms were marked with old scars and faded ink, reminders of choices made and lines crossed. To most, he looked like trouble waiting to happen. To those who truly knew him, he was a man who had already paid dearly for his mistakes and was quietly trying to balance the scales. Rafe had been riding through the neighborhood on his way to a garage he helped run, enjoying the clarity that daylight brought him. He noticed Maribel because something about the scene was wrong, because pain has a way of announcing itself even without words. He saw the way she lay still, the fear etched into her face, and something in him tightened. He had a daughter once, lost years ago to a drunk driver, and in Maribel's helplessness he felt the old ache reopen. He did not hesitate. He moved with purpose, his boots heavy against the pavement, his shadow falling across her like a shield. People often assume that men like Rafe are incapable of gentleness, but they are wrong. He knelt carefully beside her, his movements slow, deliberate, as though afraid to break something fragile. He took in her injuries with a practiced eye, understanding pain in a way textbooks never teach. Around them, the street seemed to hold its breath. The men who had hurt her were gone, but their cruelty lingered, and Rafe felt it like a personal offense. He removed his jacket and folded it beneath her head, ignoring the way passers-by stared, and signaled for help with a raised hand that brooked no refusal. As emergency sirens grew louder in the distance, Rafe stayed with Maribel, grounding her with his presence. She watched him through blurred vision, this unlikely guardian with steel in his posture and something unexpectedly warm in his eyes. For the first time since she had fallen, her breathing slowed. The pain was still there, sharp and unrelenting, but it no longer felt like she was facing it alone. In that moment, the world shifted slightly back toward balance. News travels fast in communities like that one, and the story of what happened did not end on the pavement. The three men who had attacked Maribel were identified quickly. Witnesses who had been too afraid to step in found courage in Rafe's example and came forward. Security cameras told the rest of the story. When the men were brought in, they learned that cruelty does not exist in a vacuum. Consequences followed, heavy and unavoidable, and the arrogance that had fueled their actions drained away under the weight of accountability. Rafe never sought them out, never needed to. The system did its work, aided by people who finally chose not to look away. Maribel's injuries were serious but not permanent. Doctors told her that with time and therapy, she would regain what she had lost. Recovery was slow, marked by frustration and setbacks, but something inside her had changed. She had seen the worst of people and then, unexpectedly, the best. Rafe visited her once at the rehabilitation center, standing awkwardly in the doorway like he did not quite belong there. He brought no speeches, no grand gestures, only a quiet assurance that she mattered and that what happened to her did not define her worth. Their lives did not intertwine beyond that, but the impact of that day echoed forward. Maribel returned to the community center stronger, more determined than ever to help others who felt invisible. She spoke about survival not as a miracle, but as a choice made possible by compassion. Rafe continued his work at the garage, his reputation unchanged on the surface but subtly altered in the eyes of those who had seen him kneel beside a broken stranger without hesitation. For him, that moment became a kind of redemption he never expected, a reminder that even men with dark histories can choose light when it matters most. The street where it happened looks ordinary now, sunlit and unremarkable, as if it has forgotten the pain it once held. But Maribel remembers, Rafe remembers, and somewhere in the quiet space between fear and courage, a truth remains: kindness does not always wear a friendly face, and help can come from the most unexpected places. A single act, done without cameras or applause, can ripple outward, changing more than one life. If this story touched your heart, if it made you believe even a little more in humanity and second chances, please take a moment to like this video, comment your thoughts, and share it with someone who might need hope today. Your engagement keeps these stories alive and reaching those who feel alone. Before the ending, we have one special request for you. Please comment the word kindness below if you believe that compassion can still change the world. Maribel walks now with a steadiness she once thought she might never regain, her steps a quiet testament to resilience. Rafe rides on under the same bright skies, carrying the knowledge that on one ordinary day, he chose to stop, and that choice mattered. And for everyone watching, the message is simple but powerful: when you see someone in pain, you can be the reason their story does not end there.